And let's see. Okay. So, yeah, the plan is to review ramps and swale first, but I don't see a ramp yet. Let me zoom in.
Yeah, that was my biggest question. I just kept the straight ramp.
Yeah, well, the ramp has to be 200 feet, so a straight ramp might not
Oh,
work.
okay. I didn't see that.
Yes. So the ramp needs to be kept at 5% an average slope, right? And if you have about 9 feet of difference in elevation, then it needs to be about 180 feet long, and we don't have that length yet to make it
Okay.
at a 5% average slope. So you would need to add a curved or a zigzagging ramp for on the side, and then regrade it and try to integrate the contours into the ramp. So that's
Okay.
something that you need to work on immediately, so that we can review it next week on Tuesday. And then the swell here. Now let's take a look at one of them. So if I pick this one here, yeah, we're still needing all the curb cuts, because without the curb cuts, I won't be able to know what's your inflow elevation. Okay, so if my curb cut is somewhere here and it's around 09.6, then you could kind of see, yes, you have a shallow bow retention that it's at about half foot deep. And we're lacking a contour number, although I could kind of see, okay, so there's no boundary of the bow retention that should be shown on the drawing. The drawing is a grading plan. So any enclosed line, so this enclosed line should be a contour. And you don't actually have a contour. You have a contour of 11110 that can go around, but needs to hit the curb somewhere. Yeah, I can see that you have your HP being 1110.50, so that's between two 10 contours. That part is correct. But if you have a contour of 11110, you need to label it, and that is the same for every other bar retention that you design here. And for this part, yes, you have your water going into your bar retention perpendicular to the contour. But then from this side, again, you start to have water actually draining to the other side. So in fact, you wouldn't have any water going in here. So these are not effective collecting water for the driveway and for the drop off area. So they can be deleted. And then if you want to have water coming in this side, you'd have to turn your contours like that. But I don't think that's a change that you would want to make at this point, and it doesn't really. If I zoom out and let's take a look at the bigger picture. So most of the water is going down there. If you would like to break it down a little bit more, then you would want to put in a trench drain. So what I would recommend doing would be, all this water will get in to the middle, and you would want to try to calculate, if that is, so that's about this much going into the middle. And then, no, definitely, if this one is exceeding 5,000, then I think there is a need for putting in a trench drain, somewhere here to break it down so that you have water going into one of the cells over here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. So depending on how big this is, you could choose to keep that one, or if this is, if by putting in a trench drain there, you would be able to reduce that one to 3,000-4,000 square feet, then I think, keeping this one would be enough. You don't no you don't necessarily need to keep that one, because otherwise you have to dig this one very deep to be connected to this. Then that's not necessary either. So then let's take a look at this point. Yeah, there is a curb cut there, and we're concentrating both of them. But realize the elevation of the curb cut is lower than the inflow from the plaza, so we might need to look at the elevations designed there to see if it makes sense to have one big cell at that end. Okay. I did realize some of the contours here remains connected to the wrong place. Oh, go please. So your 1113. No, you don't try to change this part. That's not the part that you change, right? You change that part, you're actually removing this part that is under the tree. So the contours here would be, yeah, wait. My 13 needs to be there. You still need to check the distance between that tip to your connected contour. And that remains, and this would be cut off. And now your 1112 would be going, so your 1112 goes, yeah, there's no 1112 coming out. No, see, your 112 goes like this, right? But then what about that? There's no connection on that side. So that is not correct, and your 1112 needs to go connecting this part. So it could be, that's not the 2, is it? The 3 needs to be cut off there. Yeah, that's right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and that one goes around. Oh, backwards. I'm sorry. So the 2 needs to go, yeah, something is off on the other side, on the higher side as well. So let's try to zoom back out to, let me clear this. So you have your 13 over here. 10, 11, 12, 13 over here. So then your 13 would need to be connected back in that place. And your 12 is missing. So now what we gotta do is keep that 10 over there. And then let's do 11. Oh, I see. Yeah, your 11 is actually connected back over there. So I need a bigger screen. Oh, we probably need to do a bigger move. I know your parking lot is like this. So in order to keep most of that straight, okay. What you might need to do, one or two options here. The 10 can stay where it is, and then the whole part here can increase its slope so that you will be able to keep your 1 1 11 the same manner that you had as but at a higher slope. Then you would have your 13 and your 12 here. Does that make sense? So basically this area will be at a higher slope once you get past to the 10 contour. And the other way,
Okay.
so this is one option, and the other way would be, let's keep the contour location exactly where it is, but let's change the numbering. So that's 13, that's 12, that's 11. So you basically change the contour number by 1, and then you will be able to keep all these at the same locations as they were, but it does require you to adjust the wall. Basically, the main influence you have is actually your backyard design. All the front will remain the same, changing your elevation by 1, but the back side, um, because now you are being higher on the front, right? So you're also being higher in the back. So then it requires just some changes of how the site contours attach to your wall besides your building. So my opinion would be keeping, changing the contour numbers may be easier than designing for this area to be a bit deeper, but steeper. But I think either one is not a huge change. Okay, it's better than missing a contour. So once we have the 12 here, we know that this portion doesn't exist. Then my 12 goes back, and my 12 actually connects to this contour because that's my 13. Okay, so these ones, the 13 here also needs to be cut off like that. So that's your 13. This portion needs to be cut off. And yeah, that's how your contour here should go. Well, you don't need to keep attaching that back all the way, but just doing this would be okay. So that's where you attach to your 13. Your 12 would be somewhere here. Yeah, it's actually going to be, if you choose to alter your contour number, your 12 would actually be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, would I have to change the contour numbers on the other side too?
Yeah, you would be systematically increase your contour number by 1, contour
Okay.
elevation by 1. Yeah, okay. So I can see how that could do to your spot elevations. Because right now all your spot elevations are estimates, if you come up with a system showing which ones you have changed to a precise calculation, then I think is the same amount of work because you have to recalculate them anyway. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. So it wouldn't increase the work, but you do need to have a clear system. Once you alter a spot, the color changes very clearly. Otherwise, if you have an old spot that hasn't been changed, it will be way off. No, it wouldn't be close to estimation, so it's very likely that you will be docked because that spot is not even close to estimation. It is 1 feet from the estimation. So that's the risk of changing your contour number.
Okay.
Okay. So no, decide whichever way that you want to proceed. Okay. Any other things that you feel like you are super confused about and want to have answered? I may have a few more minutes.
Just a review of the stairs.
The stairs, okay.
I don't know if I have too many. And the one, like, should I
So
add a third row?
you actually have, so this is for one flight, right? 10 risers, 9 treads at
Yeah.
12. Okay. Riser tread 6. So that is about 12 steps, 0.55. Oh, well, it's probably more than you need. But let's take a look at your spot elevation. So, if the top of the stairs is about 1107.1, we need to base that on your building calculation. Let's take a look. Let's just use your original spot as an indication, okay? So one thing that I noticed, your 1106 is probably marked wrong. Your 1106 contour is over here. And then this needs to be 1107 instead of 6. Does that does that make sense? So you're going down to, yeah, this is a good time for folks to actually go from system to system. No, turning everyone. For instance, if you now is the time to take a holistic look at your contours, and if you have reviewed them, again, come up with a system saying, I have reviewed this one and it's all correct, and then I can move on. Because it has come to a point where things are getting so cluttered and you can't keep track of the small mistakes, errors that showed up before. And I think this is a kind of a classic case of that. Once we dropped the contours, things get shifted, and there might be one small mistake, and then it will lead to cascading issues. So I know this is a 1107 that goes like this and goes down like that. And then there might be a tiny small 1106, but there might not be, depending on the distance. I know the 1107 goes there. So my HPS is there, and I should go up from this point on. So this contour needs to be at 1107 as what I had before, right? So that contour needs to be at 1107. And then I have a 1106 contour. If this was the original one, I am going to have a 1106 contour doing, I need to find my center line again. That's my center line. And if my center line lands on a paved area, I want that center line to be straight instead of being curved. So if this is my center line, if I look for my 1106 contour, it needs to be somewhere here. That's why my 1106, and then it goes back to here. And 107 also goes down to this wall. Now, again, we need to keep an eye on this distance over here. So then 5 would be doing that. That's correct. And angle all your contours more away from the wall, so you have drainage away from that wall. So this should be 7, and that should be 6, and this should be 5. Okay. And now, if that's the case, you have your 1107.5 here, which is, yeah, very much, if I base that on this distance, yeah, that estimate looks good. It's just that contour number that is not correct. Okay, I'm gonna clear this and then, go back to your 1107 over here. Now your building FFE would not be that high. Your building FFE would be whatever this gives you. So if this is about 1107.5, again, you need to estimate. So what that elevation is, that's the highest that you can get for your TFFE, depending on where you enter, right? If you remember the multi-building exercise from grading class, this is if I have an entrance over here, that is my TFFE without any stairs. Okay, so it will be slightly above 1107.5, but then no, it needs to be dependent on the distance perpendicular to that contour. So use that to calculate your TFFE. And then, no, suppose is 1107.8, for instance, then your back FFE would be, now I kind of yes, the 10-foot difference. Oh, the 9-foot and versus 10-foot between these two courses are confusing. Well, we'll see what to do about that. Okay, now we have a 7.8 here. We have a 7 contour. The 7 contour is the last contour. So yeah, you have some issues with your backyard contours not connecting to each other. Not sure if that makes sense. So let me zoom back out to this area. So if I have my bottom FFE at 1097.8, my next contour will be about 97, right? So that will be 40 feet. You would need to measure 40 feet for it to get to 97 contour. And then my last contour will be 96. So meaning that my 96 will be here, which doesn't conflict with your 97 contour, which is great. But depend on whether this is 40 feet or whether or not that is 40 feet if I come out from that exit. So if I delete this one, depending on where 40 feet is, if my 40 feet distance get to my 97 contour and my 97 and my 96 original is in this relationship, which means the slope here is not exceeding maximum slope allowed, then I don't need to change my 96 and 95. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then my wall needs to be here, right? My wall needs to extend to that place, and the 97 needs to hit the wall. 98 needs to hit the wall, but my 96 will remain there. My 5 will remain there. Don't need to be changed. Okay. Now, the same thing needs to be kind of adjusted on this side. So that's that. In case we're elevating, I'm going to show you, in case we're elevating for this to be 98.8. So this will be 98 contour. Then the 97 is where you need to kind of connect out. Then you just need to keep pushing 5 and 6 out for one more contour. So in that case, I will need a 97 over here. I can stay just 4 feet away. And my 96 will be the one. Depending on if I have more space, my 96 will be like this. So if it's conflicting, my 95 will be the one that I connected the last. Does that help?
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
in case we need to systematically change the contour number and raise by one number, you just need one more contour at the back.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that. I better move forward to other students, but if we have time at the end, let me know if I can help with anything else. Okay?
Thank you.
Alrighty, you're welcome. So next I have Desiree. Uh,
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
getting you?
Pretty good. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's pretty dark, I know. Okay, so we have a few questions marked out here. We'll take a look at the ramp first. The ramp look good except for it doesn't have a side slope yet. Okay, we need to have a side slope. Um, and can the plaza swell have more than one slope? It could, definitely could. I feel like my ramp or plaza swell conflict each other. Should I move the ramp or plaza swell? Well, it does feel like you are conflicting. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. I think something is off. I just want to mention major contour issues. This should be turned. Okay, that should be turned. And that's a closed contour.
Okay.
And then you have your swell going like that. That's good. You do need a kind of a connection to your bioretention in that area. You could start to get pretty steep in this area, and no maximizing the bow swell here, or oh no, bioretention at the end. So you want to try to leave more space in this area by pushing these contours away. So that can be done. So that's that area. I'm gonna clear this and move down. So your swell is conflicting with your, okay, that's good. And now we are looking for, yeah, this is the tiny little, oh, woman, I'm trying to read the contour label, and that means you probably need to increase the size of the contour label. And 8, this is 7. So that's your swell, yes, and it's conflicting. How can we change that? And I think it will be better, yeah, it will be better if you change your swell, oh no, your ramp back there. Yeah, and then coming out here, I know it's shortened it, so you might have to, so you may need to change the direction or adding one more turning for the ramp. Yeah, okay. So because, no, I think this is a better solution. If I move it here, then I'm still going to cross the swell at some point, which is not a bad thing. It just adds some complexity to your design. You will be elevating that part that is on top of a swell. That's definitely an option that you can choose, and you can also make the ramp more interesting. But in terms of reducing the complexity, the way would be move the swell out of the center line completely, because you can see I am anticipating something to happen in this area, and I wanna for my ramp to stay away from that, which means I could start doing this. So having a W-shaped ramp would also help if you need more length there. Yeah, I think this will be a better solution. Just completely staying away from both of these swell center lines. Okay, let's try to take a look at your ramp itself, because I can see you're trying to, oh, come on. You're trying to incorporate, please. Yeah, so we need a trench drain as Stuart mentioned before, right? Now here you have water going in this direction, and we want to, yes, most of the water, well, because you don't have a little swell, yeah, most of the water will basically flow through. That's okay. All right, this is the different situation with the example that Stuart showed. You can see maybe I could basically just do that to incorporate those side slopes with my contours. I don't, once I move away from my swell center line, if I can aim for something like this, and I can turn, that's okay too, if I need a side slope. I don't always have to do this if, let's say, actually, for this one, we can still, for the angle, for the side slope to do, it will be doing this and then that, okay? Now for that one, we could basically do this. No, straight lines, not curved, but the tendency of the direction of the contour would be like that. And then we could do that, this, that, that, and that. Does that make sense? So you would have a side slope all the way.
Yeah.
No, moving water not along the ramp, but to the side very quickly. Okay. So that's that. Let's look at one more. Oh, you don't have a divergent swell, which is
Yeah, like none of my
yeah,
bioretention will be in that area. It goes down to the on the
yes,
bottom of the car drop off.
right. Yeah, I would say your parking lot do need a trench drain because you have a big area basically draining into this one location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So ideally, well, I don't remember if we discussed that early on. If we talked about angling more toward that before, but no, in the interest of time, I think we basically add a trench drain just in the middle. I think in the middle will be good because now you divide it, basically divide it into half. Half of this drains to the trench drain and then entering some of the area here, and then the other half goes down here. That one is too small, so it's not very useful. So everything else, so basically, oh, actually this one is not accepting a lot of water either. So it's only doing that part. Yeah, most of your water is actually going to go down there, which makes it an, yeah, it is an issue. Okay, so in that case, two. Two trench drains actually. I do think it's necessary to put one over here before the cars get into the drop off and everything else goes down to here. The thing is that you need to find the lowest point to make the curb cut. Okay, right now it's not the lowest part, which is so your trench drain, where is the lowest part? You're looking for the longest distance between that point to your contour, right? So it's that tangent point, that's the lowest point. So
Okay.
your curb cuts over here is only, no, there's this much water that's getting untreated in the middle. So all this is not actually going to be intercepted by your curb cuts over there. So that's not treating all of the water, but you need to find the tangent point here and looking for the lowest point, which is this area. So that's where you cut through, incorporate a trench drain, and then having an RDI. Okay?
So then my question would be, if I would put a trench drain there, how would the other bioretention get water into the area? Wow.
How would the other bioretention area?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, can you annotate?
This one over here, because if I'm putting this over here,
Okay.
how would this one get it?
So that one becomes unnecessary, or you'd have to no, you use that to further divide. I take that back. It's not unnecessary, but this one is required. This one is required, and that one somewhere here could be additional, depending on how much area it's treating. If we zoom out back again, and we can get a sense of how much water is actually receiving from this end. So that means what I need to do is doing this perpendicular to the contour. Yes, most of that water will be draining down. This water actually will be intercepted by yeah, it's only this area. Only that much area is going down to that curb cuts. And then it would make sense to have another, I can, if we're putting in trench drains, I don't think you need both. Does that make sense? If we're putting trench drains to already know that already divided this area, why is this not clicking? So trench drain, come on, trench drain, and then we don't need to further divide it. We can have one, 2, and then that one becomes your third.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of this curb, no, actually, this curb cuts, it's only receiving that much water, because you can imagine all this is actually going to flow down, and then eventually it goes down to this the lowest part. So without a trench drain, you're actually having this huge area as one area.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Let me just zoom out and see if there's any glaring things that I want to talk about. Okay, there is one more contour move that needs to happen. This one.
Okay.
Okay. And let's take a look at this area. There is a curve that's not reflected yet. It's not letting me. Weird. And then that one needs to be moved there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you don't have a curve there. That's okay. So 13, 12, 11. Okay. That's good. 13 doesn't need to move. Okay. Yeah. All right. What else? Yeah, we need to add all the, so that needs to change. That needs to have a curb cut, and that needs to have a small garden. This is keep moving, and that needs to have a connection as well. And then moving the ramp, don't need that. Okay. All right, those are the things that I can tell from this point. And you don't have to have such a big plaza if that gives you problems for the other contours. I don't know if you connected all the others yet. well, let's take a quick look. I want to make sure that we cover this one. Yeah. Okay. So if your building FFE is 98 and you're 98, okay, you are having one step out of your building, which we don't recommend. Yeah, you should aim for still ADA in this backyard. So reduce that 0.5 difference, that one step difference there. And then your 97 is over here. What's the status of the contours over here? So yeah, these are not connected yet. So whatever, so you have 90, the wall seems to be suggesting the next contour that's connected is over here, but that's way over 97. No, way past 97. Okay. This is 8, and you have, is that 8? That's 8, yes. If you have an 8, 8.5, well, it will be determined by how you calculate this. This is probably higher. Yes, this is higher than 8.5. But let's use that as an example. This is 98.5. You're looking for 98 somewhere here, and 99, 98. Your 97 will be the one that's the first one that's connecting. So all these are not necessary. The wall should stop right here between your 98 and your 97. Then you should be able to connect everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's all I want to go through, and thank you. I'll move forward to the next student.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have Joey.
How you doing, Wuhan?
Joey, pretty good.
That's good.
All right. Let's take a look at the questions you have. This is the correct way to show the swell on the pavement. That's, yeah, that's good, but I think you're not using the, well, this is one of the two swell centerline types. If that's correct, then that's okay. The HPS needs a plus sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, and then all you need is all the other spot elevations along the way. So I don't think your centerline slope is 4%. You may need to recalculate it. It's much less than 2%. It's actually gentler than 2 because you have 2% side slopes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it goes off the pavement there, and then it just goes into the bioretention, is the LPS like the bottom of the bioretention, or is it like where I want it to be, or is it like right before it gets into the bioretention that I would calculate it for,
Oh,
or
there's no, you wouldn't indicate an LPS for this situation. You would basically have a spot over here on the pavement that
okay,
shows your inflow, and if there is any contour formed by your swell, you would have, I would, depend on, then this part will be elevated if this is your design.
yeah, it's like
And yes, if there is a 1106 contour, you would mark the 1106, and then
yep,
you would have the HP, and your center line would actually just end there.
okay,
Yeah, end at the the edge of the pavement there.
okay. And is
Right.
if it's less than, like, if you said it's less than about 2%, would that mean that it's not really a swale? Like, is it not steep enough
Oh,
swale?
no, that's not it. It will be
Okay.
it will be a swell, because the swell has enough side slope for it to direct water away,
Okay,
so the slope can fall below 2%.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, we'll move to the next question about the divergence swell here.
Yeah, so do you think I need to move that down a little bit to make room for some of those bioretention ovals along the side there?
You have a very similar situation as what we
Yeah,
talked about with Desiree, where you don't have a direct water flowing to the curb. On the side, you would have the trench drain being your major way of diverting flow.
yeah,
So your water needs to come in from here,
yeah.
and we're looking for space. Are we keeping these 4 feet away? The contours 4 feet away.
Um, which ones? The like the which
These
kind?
contours.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're really close.
Hmm.
But I think they are 4 feet. That bottom one might be a little too close there, but the other ones are 4 feet.
Yeah. So I would say, let's not use the narrowest the narrow
Yeah,
part for the trench drain,
so maybe move it
because
up a
you
little
can,
bit.
yes, because
Okay.
you can tell that if I divided somewhere earlier, then I may have a little bit more room in here and there.
Yep.
And this happens to be where my most contour are
Yep.
stacked up.
Yep.
And then for these areas, you can actually do more like this and start to create some more space in this area. So your center line would be swaying to this side.
Yep.
Then you will be able to create more space
For the
for the bottom one.
gotcha.
So you would have one probably in this area and the other one here and one more down below at the end.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That more.
Um, and because this is actually helping a lot, that one gets out of those.
Yep.
If you have one more here, I don't necessarily see a need for another trench drain, but you can actually have one more curb cut here.
Yep.
So that curb cut could tackle all this, and then this, the bottom one, could be
For all that.
other parts. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think adding one more here, but in the form of a curb cut would be enough.
Okay.
Okay. That's that portion. Do you have a ramp that I haven't looked at?
Yeah. The ramp is where the
Oh yeah, yes.
yeah.
Well, looks
I
pretty
put the
good.
okay.
Well, it's the same thing. We need to add more side slope.
Okay.
And this part seems that's okay because it can drop below 5%. You don't have to keep 5 all the way. Okay. So good.
All right. Cool.
Again, these contours, no, they do need to hit the
Getting-
wall
Yeah.
more at that angle. Okay.
Yeah. And then right at the end of the ramp where it meets the plaza, it's okay that it's like below the so like where it goes below the wall there would the um so then would like you um like would
Here.
water go underneath the sidewalk or would it just flow on top of the sidewalk like at the end of the wall there like at the bottom of the wall?
This area. Okay.
Yeah,
So I just marked up here. Your contour have to hit the wall.
okay.
Okay. Otherwise, you will have to extend the wall here for it to attach. Okay.
Move that.
Um, let's take a look at the end. You have that going down to the wall, and no, it really depends on your contour situation. Let's zoom to that area. So top FFE 1107.5 seems to be a little low. See, this is 7. Okay, yeah. Well, if you have your entrance here, then that makes sense to have it at 1107.5. Just it just needs to fall between the elevations, at the corner. And then 97.5, 97, and you have a 96 over here. We still need to connect the bottom, all these contours. So I can see why you want to enlarge your plaza so you have your ramp connected. We need to examine whether or not that is actually working here. So 7, and we have a 5.2. Yeah, you need to indicate where your 97, 96 contour is. And I'm not sure you can get down to 95.5 based on the distance over here.
Yeah.
So if this whole thing is your plaza, you would design it as a 2% slope. Then you know how low this is. Based on the spacing, this is probably close to 6.2, something like that. If this is the case, then you have a 97 contour. You have a 97 contour somewhere over here at the 25 feet apart mark. Yeah, in that case, this might be 6.5. This is 6.5. Oh, why am I using different color? Then my 6 would be the one that's connecting through. That's 6. Is that 6 contour?
I think
I
the
think so.
corner,
I'm not sure.
that might even be the 5 contour. I'm not.
Yeah. So if I'm trying to get it, let's take a look. Trying to get a sense of which. So this is 5. That one is 10. Okay.
Right, the
Go
one that goes
back
to
to
the corner,
yours.
196 is the one that goes to the corner, and then 195 is the one that's right off of the first contour off of the corner.
So this seems to be this is 10, right? That one is 10. Trying to remember the pattern.
The one you just this one.
Yeah. Okay.
This one that you marked is 195.
Oh, this is 10. This is 10. Is that 10?
I know that this one right here, that this one you marked here is 195. So this is 6.
Okay, that's 95.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 6. Okay. If that's 6, then we need to move things out, and we don't seem like we have enough space to move out. So what you might need to do is actually keeping this at 5. That's 6. We have 6.5 here. So it's a little tight, but you may be able to make it work in case we don't have enough space to keep pushing contours out. You need to decrease the size of your plaza.
Okay.
Right? So that I can fit in, so that I can fit in a 6 contour before it hits the original 6. So if I can have my 6 contour over here, then I don't have to push all these contours in the back side, which means that you do have to, move the end connection point of your ramp
Yeah,
to
that's not.
where your plaza ends, which
Yep.
is not hard to do. You can basically just, increase the length of it.
Yep.
You use the same principle to design it, right? And you
Yep.
can even do something like that. And yeah, you know how to grade a ramp. The
Yep.
stairs right now is, I would say you need to go back and redo that one.
Yeah, I realize I have to add landings.
Right. So a key thing to do is to make sure you are able to connect in the backyard. All right, and let me zoom back out for one more time. Yeah, definitely make sure you mark all your contour labels. Otherwise, it's really hard for us to grade your project.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are not in middle way. Those need to be changed to midway.
All right.
Yeah, same thing over here.
Gotcha.
And so the contours on that side is okay. Contours on the other side seems okay. Seven, 6, 5. All right. Okay. Contours on this side. Okay, they're connected well. In terms of drainage, we still have to design all these connections with the trench drains. We still have to design. Yeah, you have in your deck corners, you'll have all those connected, so that's good. That needs to have a cut.
Okay.
I wouldn't end my plaza. Yeah, I would probably still asking all my passengers to get off over here, so you don't necessarily need a big pavement.
So I could cut that early. Okay.
Yeah, cut that early. That contour needs to attach that wall. So it cannot stop at the edge of the pavement. It needs to come around and hit the wall,
All
hit
right.
the building wall. Well, yeah, you could actually try to open up some curbs here because it helps with that portion.
Yep.
Instead of letting it drain down, I think your big green area is actually, try to make some use of that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I have.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
that was really helpful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Give me 2 minutes. I'll come back. Get some water. So I'll be talking to Aubrey by that time. Aubrey.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good to hear. So let's look at the ramp first. And we have where ramp going. Yeah, our ramp it's not long enough. So we have, yeah, maybe that ramp it's going all the way down. Let's see. We can actually utilize that ramp. It's a pretty good design, except
Okay.
for we need people to get off somewhere. So if we can have people get off somewhere here, then this can become a ramp that is going down in the halfway, then we have enough length. Right now it seems we don't yet. So you may have to... Aubrey, can you quickly measure that for me
Yeah.
in CAD?
You mean in CAD?
Yeah, in CAD. Try to measure the length of your current ramp. Let's see how far away we are.
Okay. It's about 100.
Okay, we need to double that. So if we have people get off, if we have people get off somewhere around here, let's try to enlarge this area so people have enough space to stand. And then
Mm-hmm.
starting from here, we're going down. So basically means you have a wall here. Okay, you would have a wall here because your ramp goes low, so that the curb is not high enough to extend down to the bottom elevation of that ramp. So then you would have about 150, which means you could actually either extend the ramp away or but basically trying to find a way for the ramp to go. I don't know. Yeah, it needs to connect back here. So I don't know if it's worth doing something like that, but it depends on along the way what you design for people to see, right? But I do think it would be pretty interesting if you start the ramp over there, having a little wall,
Yeah.
and then go down. And this can become the garden for the green, for the roof, right? If it's for the roof, it's even if it will be actually also interesting to say maybe my ramp just goes like this and then go down. So I would have something to see when I get to, no, this is the, if your roof is connected to the garden, that would be pretty interesting for the ramp to for people that take the ramp to experience, right? So then that you can have a connection down to the bottom of your plaza. Then yeah, can you see how this is not connecting to a 109850? That's why we need the longer ramp, and we
Yeah.
need to connect to the bottom of the plaza. All right, so that's that part. You seem to have figured out how I connect these contours, which is good, but make sure that you actually do connect them back out here. Okay, so that's,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So these lines, they do need to connect with each other. And now you have a cross slope. So you apply that same principle to whatever the new ramp that you would have later on.
Okay, sounds good.
So if I zoom out again to this area, we have looked at this area, except for that you need to round these contours here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can't have this cross the center line, so that needs to be cleaned up there. And let's zoom out. Take a. So it's time to get really detailed. So adding back the curves in your base map. Yeah, contours here. You don't necessarily go back to the tree. You could actually start connecting there, or even starting there would be okay. You know, keeping all those 7 original, and then starting with 06 right there, and 5 could, you know, you could even do 5 like that, and 4, so that you don't have to move too much contours. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Yeah. 3
Yeah,
can,
that does make sense.
yeah, 2, 1, 9. At this point, you only need to move very small portion of these contours. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at, okay, the curb cuts needs to happen right there on the center line. You would need all these curb cuts, otherwise the water will not be able to get into the green area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, I'm basically checking the big drainage pattern at this point. I don't think yeah, this needs to be along the curb, the contour. Okay,
Oh, okay.
not along that walkway.
Yeah.
It needs to go along the curb. Yeah, this is correct. That one is correct.
Yeah, I think I changed that one, so I forgot to fix it.
Yeah. Okay, and yeah, moving up to check all the other patterns. So water here is going to be intercepted there, and then so check to see if all these lines are parallel. Some of them seem a little off. For instance, this one, oh, please, this one, and that one, they don't seem to be parallel. So try to clean up some of those. I bring this up because angling it actually helps water to get in your curb cuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oops, move up. Those contours you have, okay. So these used to be doing that. That makes sense if you have an island in between.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then you have all these contours. They can't cross that island. Okay.
Okay.
That one looks okay. This one, it doesn't have a curve good. That one needs to have a curb cut. That one, yeah. Otherwise, the drainage looks okay. Yeah, we talked about this needs to happen over here. Huh. All right. Too many flights of stairs. No, it makes it feels not, I mean, 3 or 4 steps at a time, and then you make many stops. It doesn't really feel very comfortable doing that. So I would suggest reducing the flights, the number of flights of your stairs. You can do 5 at a time. Right now it's 4. Yeah, 5 or 7 at a time. And then you have
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you probably have more steps than necessary.
Okay. I'll fix that.
Once you do the calculation, you'll be better able to see if you have more than necessary or not. Yeah, so your tread, your risers are all half foot, and the distance between your TS and your, yeah, this is too high. The estimation here. No, you would basically be calculating that based on the distance, right? And that seems just slightly higher than 1109. And
Okay.
BS will be determined by that. That seems low. So basically that's the elevation of that line, right? If you come out here, then that's 1099, and this needs to be 1099.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you're designing for the back to be like this, then this will be higher than 1099, but not lower. Okay, so there's definitely there's not a single way to design for your plaza. If folks want to do this so that they have all the water draining down to that point, that's a totally fine design. Then this point will just be determined by how far away you are from that 1099 contour. Okay, so that's not your intended way of designing the plaza. If we have 1109B, yeah, 99 being your BFFE, you would have your 98. So this is likely 1098. Actually, depend on this. Estimating that to be 98.5. Then you would have a 98 somewhere here. Your contour, this is 0, 0. Okay, you have more space than you need. So let's start. Yeah, I want to try to take a look at the entire picture here. 12, that's good. That's 8, and we're coming up to 9, and we have 9. We have 99, and I'm trying to estimate the distance. And 99 here would be 98. And my 99 is over here, my 97. Is this labeled sort of incorrect? Oh, okay. 0, 9, 8. 7 is over here. So this can stay where it is, right? So basically this is 8. That's 7. And my wall will just be extending down there. My 8 will hit here. 9, 8. Yeah, all these are okay. This one extending to between 8 and 7. I'll need to make sure my 98 hits like this, and then my 97 goes back to normal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so that's how the back could be done. Anything else that you would like to go through? Well, that one needs to hit the wall. Needs to hit the wall.
Okay.
Okay, it might look something actually like that. Okay. And Yeah, I think you're on the right track. There's not a major mistake or anything. I think you've made a long way. No, made a really good progress from last time to here. So
Good.
yeah,
That's
keep
good to hear.
working. Keep working on the ones that I point out. All right.
Mm-hmm. I will. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Nick. Drag this away. Hey, Nick, are you here?
Yeah.
Hi. Okay. You had a comment over here. Oh, not that one.
No, it was just that.
No,
I
it's
guess I basically just want the ramps
the
on
ramps
the
and okay.
parking lot and drop off checked.
Sure. Yeah, I can see some issues with this area, but let's take a look at the ramp. I think your ramp, the same thing, you need to add a side slope. So
Okay.
yeah, by doing that, don't feel like is the only thing that you can change is on the ramp. You can actually, by tweaking these connections on the side, sometimes you could get to the side slope pretty easy and smooth as well. So you don't necessarily have to create the turning or curving of the contours. Basically, you could aim for like connecting like this, so you get to the side slope by, I would say, by looking at the larger pattern of that contour, not just the portion that is on the slope, and feel like you have to connect to those points. Does that make sense? I know it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So basically, no, aim for changing these portions as well, to better connect to the ramp. But I do think you got the idea about how to create a ramp. The thing that needs to be done is to add more side slope to the contours, so you don't have a really long flow just along the ramp without the water hitting the curb and flowing away. Okay, that's that. I mentioned that I noticed something on the side. Now the contours are not connected correctly because we basically are crossing, having some contour conflict here. You have your 12 actually crossing your 13 without cutting off your 13, right? So you first need to cut off your 13 and use that to guide where your 12 can go. So this should be your location, the location of your 12 instead of your 11. So you need to make a little more space to make that happen. So that's your 11. And then that's your 10. 10 needs to go somewhere here. So contour connection needs to be revised in this area. In terms of your divergence, well, you don't have a lot of, I think this is helping a lot, but in order for that to work, you need to sway your center line to the side and try to do more of this,
Okay.
right? So I don't think we have a lot of space in this area, so you have to rely on this one for the side swell. Let's see, zooming back out and see. Yeah, you don't have a lot of water concentrating along the curb anyway, so I think it will be fine. Because you can see even this one only has that much water. That is probably some kind of close to the threshold. So I don't see a huge need for you to open up another one, but try to increase this one, the size of this one, so that you can at least treat the area that I showed here. Well, it may still be good if you kind of measure that to make sure that it's not too large. Okay. Key thing, revise the contour over here, and then change the center line to be away by tightening up the contours along that side. So you
Okay.
make more space for that area, and then you have a decent size bioretention at the end. Okay, so that's that portion. You need a DI for all those dead corners. You do have a DI somewhere here. That's good. I can't be sure if that's a DI, but you need a DI at the lowest point there.
Okay.
And then that's a DI. That's good. Okay. So we have reviewed this divergence swell and the ramp. I'm gonna zoom back out and see. That's good. The same thing. Make sure you have the connection to the lowest point. You have a swell over here. That's good. You have an opening in the middle. That's good. And I'm trying to understand where the water goes here. Okay, it goes to this side, to this area. So you basically cut off one part of the. Okay, so in that
Yeah,
case,
there's a drain inlet in the corner and the bioretention there.
yes. Then in that case, why am I not being able to delete that thing? Close and then delete. In that case, what you actually have, the curb is shaped like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically you have a connection over here. You could even do this
Mm-hmm.
if you want to. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably well, depending on whether you want people to be here. You know, if they can stand here, if there is some programming that you designed for people to be here, then you could do this. But otherwise, you could make that curve smooth. Okay. Yeah, on this side, I would think you need a trench drain at some point because water is all going along that way. So it might be good to have a trench drain in that location at least
Okay.
to connect to your bioretention that you designed there. Okay. Yeah, if you want to put more, you actually have space. You have space in the middle. So there could be one more. That one could either, okay, so I see that you have this area being retention, right? I see that one.
Yeah.
So actually you should aim for the connection to be made like this. So this one, okay, because this is all flowing down. So let's get rid of this one. Let's not design one there because we have a lot of space here. Why not just having a trench drain for them all drain down to this area?
Okay.
Then we won't need to create a steep area. We may be able to get to kind of original contour pretty quickly just doing that. So these probably don't need to be moved.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a better solution. No, we can also turn these contours, but I think it's okay. Now if we just do a trench drain. If we turn the contours, then the water will automatically drain to your green area. That's a better that's a better kind of drainage design, but it also would require you to change contours for this area as well. So I'm hesitant to make that change at this point. So it would make make you change the contours to be like this, and let's not try to do that new thing at this point because we need
Okay.
to get down to calculating spots. Okay. Yeah. And so you could open up some curb cuts along here, although it's not a lot of water, but you can still get some water. You can see that it's still, this portion can still drain to the face of that curb. It could still enter your green area. So, okay. That needs to be opened up. You could have another one in the middle. Okay. You have something over here. This is your center line, and that's your, oh, let's zoom into this area. I want to, something look off, but I want to make sure. So your 1106 contour, it kind of disappeared along the edge, and it usually don't do that. It needs to hit the wall. You have your 1106 going like this, and then going like that, and then that's another 1107. That's 07. So it seems like the plaza, it's not okay. So if this is the case, you probably need to check to make sure that this is 50. It's probably not. Right now it doesn't seem like is parallel, so it's questionable where this lands, and I just wanted you to double check that one.
Okay.
And six, okay. It's likely that you have something like this. Oh, not parallel. And then that goes there. That's likely, but please check in CAD to make sure that's correct. And then this contour basically needs to go hitting the wall. So that means, all right, you have all this because you want all the water to drain that direction. Yeah, you're not receiving a lot of water with the spiral retention unless you have your roof drain to that. If you do perpendicular to the contour, you can see you're only treating that small amount. Does that make sense? So your
Yeah.
body tension here is only treating that very small amount of impervious surface if no other thing is draining into this area. Unless you have a trench drain or somewhere that directs water here. Otherwise it's not receiving automatically the plaza. So if we take a look at the design, I am thinking what the reason for needing this space. So I have people dropped off here, and then they go directly to my and then I do have a few gardens. I have a few gardens, one, maybe a big one here, because these locations, their elevations differ very little, so it could be a bigger one. Then I'm thinking, yes, this is where people needs to be. And do we really need that paved surface? If we need that, what is that function? The function, maybe I have a walkway where I can walk to my garden, but then there's no end of that walkway. So it's a little strange to have a walkway. So, okay, long story short, I think if we want a walkway, we want to do it like we reserve some space here, and then we want to try to, circle or surround my garden with a walkway that eventually connect right here. I wouldn't need that much. I would reduce that amount. So then I open up this area for my retention, and I don't need that corner one. I basically need the center one that is connected to my center line.
Okay.
If we don't need that walkway, we'll basically just end our walkway. Oh, why is that blue line not weird? That blue line wouldn't disappear. But if I don't need that walkway, I could do, that's really strange. I could do the connection over here and then basically do this. Then this is my the swell line. The connection of the ramp actually can happen earlier. I don't want people to be here and then see, oh, there's a ramp. I want it to be more apparent. So my ramp can start connecting there and then go down. No, I wouldn't turn it like this. I would probably just flow into the plaza like that. And then I would have my, so basically this would be my, the edge of my curb. And then I would have the garden of whatever size over there. Sound like a plan?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. 97, I want to quickly check the bottom. I think that's pretty good. The back side of your, well, I would check the distance. This doesn't seem like 50 feet to me, so you wouldn't be able to get to 96 just yet. Okay, your 96, if you want, this is, no, you would measure this. I would think this is probably at 96.5. That's your edge of a pavement. So you'd still have a 96 going around, going down, and that 96 is actually the first contour that goes around. So 96 would not hit the wall. Your 96 will be the first one that goes around, that connect, that stays where it was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So basically, you would have your 2% all the way down, but that's your edge of your pavement, and then you would fall, at a steeper slope to your 96 over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think I'm pretty good now.
Alrighty. Cool. Next one, I'll talk to Ryan. Ryan, are you here?
Yep, I'm here.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Good. Alrighty. We have a few comments. Let's take a look at those. So we still need to put in the ramp.
I have it running, beside the building, but it's way too short.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that this one is not about 180 feet, so that needs to be increased. And we do need to work on the the diversion swell as well. You actually have your contour set up in a pretty good condition where you will be able to receive water from the curb. So the matter being, how do I create some space? We do need to try to create some more space on the side so that you can fit in a retention area. If we look at the contours, I think some of them may be numbered incorrectly. This is 1, this is 13. That's 13 instead, right? That's your 13. That's your 12. That's your 12. So the 13 would be here. Your 12 needs to connect back there. So a few contours here would need to be revised. I think in order to make more space, let's see. Oh, you wouldn't be able to. No, that's the 11. That's 10. This is okay. Yeah. You'd have to assess if you have enough space here. I think we're probably one contour short in this area. If that's the case, you actually have space. You actually have space over here. So basically you could, just block everything and cutting off the block kind of along that line and move the whole thing just by 5 foot would probably be enough. Yeah, because the green area is larger than well, its capacity is pretty large in terms of how much water it's actually receiving. You're receiving water from this area, and you have enough space in all that because you only need about 1/10 of the space of its drainage area as your bioretention area. So you could move, you could make it narrow and create space for a divergent swell there. Okay, so that's that. Okay, what's this comment about? Use uniform slope. It certainly could. The bioretention area would well definitely be able to be designed with a uniform slope. Okay. You don't. That's not a DI. The DI only applies to where there's a dead end in a corner or at the bottom of your drop-off area. So that would be a curb cut that you're designing for. And
But I need one there.
so you could assess by drawing a line. That's how much water you're receiving by that one. So if this is too small, you could actually move it down. So you're receiving more water by that one. No, you have more space in this area anyway, right? So once you have a chance to measure that one, I think you could have one instead, at a lower location. So that will be how much area you're just treating with that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have space anyway, so you could design more, or you could choose to design fewer. There is a balance, right? You design more, no, there's more complexity, it's higher cost, no. So you can balance the size of the drainage area with other factors of the project. Okay. So what is the next comment? Let's take a look at here. The markup retention, the markup mentions a pavement swell running from a retention to the drop of the, okay. So I think there might be some mismatch between your running from my retention to the, I'm a little confused about this comment.
It was, yeah, in the red markup, it was just coming from,
Yeah, Stuart.
yeah, it was coming from like the, yes, yes.
Yeah, there is a mismatch. So it seems like your center line goes along that way based on the drop off, but then your high point swell is in that area. So there is a, I think when you were dropping the parking lot, something happened. So we can take a quick look of your original contour. They look like this. And they look like that. So that one seems to be, yeah, seems to be like this. And the original contour looked like that. Yes, if that's the case, right, then your contour actually, your center line of the swale is actually going that way. If that's, oh, okay, then this one, it's too close. It's a little too close to a building. And that's one thing that is going to be a problem for the final grading, because that's one that we consider a major mistake. So let's try to turn this contour of 1109. So you have a center line, so that's the 9. You have a center line doing this, that's your CL. That's your CL. And your original contour in this area would be looking like this. And then you won't have another one. So that one is out of the so that's okay. But how we connect would be, this will remain, and that's going to do this, and then that's going to do that, and then come out and then do this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this area, the contour needs to be changed based on that center line, and then your DI will be here, and
Okay.
your kind of end of the end of the swell bar retention will be in that area. This will be the 8. Your 7 could go around. Just do that. And we still have to have the 8 hitting the wall here. So make sure you have enough space for all these contours. And I don't think you need all that much pavement. Okay? If your people are being dropped off, along this curb, then that's how much pavement you would need
Right.
for the plaza to work. So honestly, this can be turned sooner. And okay, again, we need to make some space. We need to make some space for the 9 to hit the wall first. And then we have the 7. 7 could go around and then do that. Okay, just make sure we have enough space for the 6 and 5 to squeeze it in between.
Right.
Alrighty, so that's that. Okay, that's the second comment. Let's move along. That one, does this medium needs a retention zone? Not really, because it's close to your ridge. So I think it's okay. Because you're draining water to the sides. So your medium is not, well, if you have one, it's effective treating some water, but it's not that kind of critical. So can this retention the trench toward the retention to the south? Well, oh, we did change the contour So that's that. And we're trying to do this. So our center line would be doing that. So your contour will be changed to this. Well, once again, we are dropping people off. So depend on that. That you won't have people walking there. So you would have people majorly using that area. So again, you could do something like this to make your pavement smaller, and at the same time, these can be pulled closer to your building because there's no pavement there. So your contour can be like this, right?
Right.
And then this one, that's the end of the pavement. Well, oh no, no, that one. This one, yes, you had it correct. Yeah, you had it correct. In that case, you don't necessarily have to create a trench because your bioretention can be right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to limit your pavement. So honestly,
Right.
it's the best if you limit pavement because you don't want people to walk where ponding happens. If there is a lot of water kind of concentrate there in a big storm, right? Now, if in case there is no slow flow of water in that area because of clogging issues downstream, you don't want people to stand or get off there. So you actually would want to limit your pavement and maybe straighten out some of these to emphasize that I am getting people off in that area.
Okay.
Okay.
And would that be a curb cut or a drainage inlet?
Yeah, that's correct. That would be a curb cut.
Okay.
Then this one is about longer. That's correct. Roof retention is supposed to be graded. You don't have a roof retention on top of the roof. You would have the retention on the plaza. So it's going to be the water will be directed by the scuppers, by your downspouts to those gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
So,
a feeling that was
yeah.
okay.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
basically, you just need to create depressions. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So moving forward, I have Anne.
Hi, Wuhan.
Hi, Anne. Thank you for waiting.
No problem.
I changed the contour direction so the other side of the road also takes stormwater. It appears there's now a problem with curb height. How many LPs do I need if the retention merges with a rain garden? Okay, let's take a look. So, yeah. So, and you would have, a transition. Yeah, I got kicked out.
Oh no.
So much for being powerful in terms of being the host. Okay. All right. Share screen. So yes, you have changed the direction of the contours, but the same thing you will be looking at halfway. So now your connection will be changed to this. So wherever you offset your contour to be halfway, that's where your curve needs to connect. So here you would have a transition, yes. So look for midway, right? Look for midway and then connect back to here. I don't want a straight line. I want this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Only
makes
this
sense.
portion, right? It's only this portion.
Mm-hmm.
So you only have a transition actually between this one and that one. These two seems to be parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's finding the midway for that one. That becomes the only regular part of this design.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, fine. Yes, yeah. Okay, so that's that. Now we move to that area. Merges with a rain garden. I am a little confused in terms of the merge.
Oh, I think last time we were talking about putting a boardwalk over
Yes, yeah.
like a rain garden, but like I was wondering how far the bioretention should go and whether it's just like at what point is it just a garden that people walk over?
Oh, okay. So I'd say because this is the end, I would put an LB. I would put an LB on the side as well, emphasizing this is at the same elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't mark it as an LPS. You would basically mark it as a spot.
Oh, that
So
would
we have a
be
spot here at 1107.02, which is not correct. This is 10. Oh, you need a spot here, which is slightly below. Feels like it will be 1106.95 or 8 even. So
okay.
that spot you need, you calculated that one. So that's where it starts to. I don't think you have a contour here. You don't have a contour here. That is your boundary of your bioretention, which is not shown on a grading plan. The grading plan only shows contours. So you actually do not have a 1106 right there because that conflict with your LPS. That
Um,
so unless you actually have your LPS below 1106, if it's 1105.87, then that makes sense. But then the RDI doesn't make sense. So yeah, let me try to understand. All right. So I am suppose my water is flowing from this point on. Suppose that's the edge of my bioretention. That will be about 1106.5, for instance, estimating. Here you have a curb cut at 1106.44 with a trench drain. That elevation would probably be 1106.3 if that's the estimation. Then your RDI being 1106, pretty good, and your 1105.00 being 1 foot below. All those are good, and that can be good. So this is 1106. So the only thing that is off is actually your LPS. So that is not correct. And I would not mark LPS. I would basically say there's a 1106 contour. No, realize that your slope is actually determined by that. So that's a pretty steep slope. What I would recommend is actually 1106 being a smaller circle. Let's change the color so that it makes it easier to. So I would have my 1106 being a smaller circle that is connected to, let's see, this is higher. Okay, this is actually a closed one because all these walkway, they're higher than 1106. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to close. Yeah, so this 1106 is a smaller one, but you have a spot here. Yes, that indicates the end of your LPS, but that one will be at that elevation. So
Okay.
you don't have a conflict now. If you have 1106, but that one is on the higher, on the upstream side of your 1106 contour, then you're correct.
Okay, so I just have to move my LPS before the 106
Exactly.
contour.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, if you have it at 1106.85, that's 87, that's correct as well. It just conflict with your 1106 contour. It
Okay,
can
that
be
makes sense.
downstream of that one. All right.
And do I need another RDI? Because originally I had two, but do I need an RDI at the like after the LPS of the swale for the plaza?
No, they can share. They can share because you can know from this calculation you can see that the entrance here and the entrance there, they don't vary too much in elevation. If
Okay.
they vary very much, then I would separate them out to two different units. Also, they are so close to each other in terms of in the plan view. They're very close to each other. If you want, if there is a big elevation difference when you want to separate them out, but they're so physically close, you might as well combine them, because you would just use the lower entrance as the reference point to design the whole, the whole bioretention in terms of what LP should be. Just means the other entrance will have a bigger drop, which means you might need to use riprap or other mechanism to dissipate the energy, to slower down the water. But yeah,
Okay.
but in this case, they are not very different in elevation. They're so close in plan. It just makes sense to combine all of them.
Okay, that makes
All right.
sense.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would say we still need to label a lot of the contours, enlarge the labeling. Yeah, you do have labels. This one, make sure you cover all of them in both the parking lot part and the side. And then some confusion. Oh, yes, there needs to be a better hierarchy between these lines, that line and your contour line, because they look the same, and I was trying to figure out whether that's pavement or contour. And that's good. Those are good. Yeah, label all these contour as well.
Okay.
And the ramp. In terms of the ramp, I probably would try to do more of that. So I don't necessarily have to slope to the inner side of the ramp. I could direct water that way. So for this one, it will be more like, and for that one, does that make sense? So, yeah, I'm not trying to, so for instance, that one would be more, I would aim for a more kind of smoother transition between. So this is awesome, but that one is not necessary. I mean, the sharp turning because of the angles of the contours on the ramp itself. So I'm trying not to do much of that, but doing more of this.
Okay, will that affect like the spacing of the contours and like the 2% cross slope that's required?
Well, you could still aim for, well, I drew these directions a little randomly. Um, are you designing for it to be strictly 2%? Why?
Yes.
Okay, that's why. So in that case, let's take this one as an example. I would still do 2%, but I would switch the direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the same thing. I would do something like that, and then smooth it out, and all these, would be good. Yeah, that one look good. The other ones look good.
Does that mean for like the bottom ones, will the water be running towards the wall?
So that little ramp, I can see your concern. Well, I was trying to not create a little swell along that way because that tend to, more quickly worn out the edges of the ramp. So I was trying to avoid that. No, so I would say the influence of this small portion draining inside don't necessarily lead to more water draining toward the wall. It's still, over time it will be dissipated kind of in this direction out to the side. I don't think it will significantly contribute to the water that's going to get here.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, this one, you actually, by turning the contour, you actually have water going away from your building. Well, well, I would say the only downside of the original one is still creating a little swell, just very close to the edge. That's my major reason for not trying to do that and aim for a smoother connection. But you can see this water is still draining away from from this area. So for that one, for this portion, you definitely have a good reason. You had a little concern about whether or not this is draining water toward that. I would say, being so far away, that little portion of the water wouldn't have a significant impact, I would say.
Okay, and for the the 1099, it's also the same story. Like it's not too close to the building if I were to change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I would also think. Well, I think this one is okay because if you are designing for a strictly 2% cross slope, changing into that direction also doesn't really help much with the swell situation.
Okay.
So this is actually better. The original direction is actually better.
Okay, so like for the top half, I'll switch it, and for the bottom half, I
Yeah.
can just.
Yes. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. We'll move forward to Seth.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. And Seth is not here, so I'll talk to Max. Alright.
Long, is it possible for us to go into a separate breakout room?
Well, I think we can do that, but Jess is over here. So I am going to stop recording.